Hey guys, it's your girl Tiffany Matthews with Real Estate Solutions here in the Baltimore, Maryland area. Let me get my shirt straight. Always funny when you're looking at yourself trying to do a video. You find all the imperfections that we want to try to make perfect, which is impossible. At any rate, I am on today to talk with you guys a little bit about what's going on currently in the housing market and, put my 2 cents on it. My opinion, where I think we're going, where we're headed, and what we can expect to see in the future. So I've had a lot of people asking me that question. What do I think is going to happen with the prices? Do I think that the housing prices will start to come down more? And it just led me to do a little bit of research and looking back from a historical standpoint to see, have we been in a situation before where we've had extremely high interest rates and also extremely high housing prices? And we have actually had that to occur on a couple of different occasions within the 19th century. So, and I will tell you, I did most of my research and got most of my information off of a website called Urban Institute. So I do welcome you to check out that website on your own time. If you want to dive deeper into some of the things that I'm talking about. Oh, also, you may hear my dog in the background. Just totally ignore her. But know that this is real life. I'm at my home office doing the video. Okay, so let's get into it. So in my area, which is the DMV area, what I have seen happening in the market is that the house prices are still relatively inflated. We have seen prices drop a little bit, maybe $10,000, maybe $20,000. However, overall, the housing market has stayed pretty inflated, and the appreciation of most of these houses have stayed at a level keel and not shown any decline. So what does that mean for everybody else who's actually trying to purchase a home? So the other thing that I've seen, obviously, is that the interest rates for home mortgages are still continuing to rise. It seemed like they dipped a little bit and then, they kind of came back up. I think when I looked at the national rate right now, we're around 7.99 for a 30-year mortgage, which I know just sounds crazy, right? Who can afford 8% interest on a mortgage with a house that is inflated astronomically? The two just don't seem to go hand in hand for affordability purposes, right? So we're finding with that, there are a lot of people who are still having to rent. And unfortunately, a lot of the renters are actually seeing a spike in their rate as well. I will say one of the advantages of being a homeowner is once you are a homeowner and you have your mortgage interest rate locked in, that rate is not going to go up, right? So that's a good thing. So you should not see increases in your mortgage like a renter would see increases in their rent rate, right? Typically with a homeowner, if you decide to refinance, you would refinance for a lower interest rate, which would lower your monthly payment. So that's one positive for being a homeowner, right? But we are seeing that the renters are struggling just as well because inflation has caused everything to go up, and it's just like a domino effect, right? Again, I mentioned that I pulled some of the information that I found and that I'm sharing with you guys today from urbaninstitute.com. Check that out online. But basically, this website was talking about how this all occurs and how it happens. So we've seen an increase in the interest rates, which President Biden and his administration has tried to increase a lot of the interest rates to help with preventing a recession and to cause homeowners or just the population in general to slow down on the spending. And I'll tell you, most of the people have been doing a lot of spending because we have seen low unemployment rate. As a matter of fact, there are tons of jobs out there now that still need to be filled. So we're seeing that. We've also seen a rise in just your income. So with those two things together, it's obviously going to create a market for people who are able to purchase a home and who are looking for housing now that they have a stable job, now that they've had a raise with their income. So the thing that we have not seen is we have not seen an increase in our inventory for housing, unfortunately. So right now we're still in a lower category for what's on the market that is habitable for people. I know, where I am, there are a lot of vacant houses and a lot of houses, however, they're not habitable for someone to actually live in, or someone would actually want to purchase those homes. So when I speak of inventory, I'm talking about homes that are up to par. Someone would actually be able to move in ready, and have their home set up and start their life, right? That's what I'm talking about. So again, when you have that combination of those things, it's going to create a rise in the housing market because the sellers pretty much are still in demand. Again, as I mentioned, we have a low inventory. However, with our current situation where we have the high inflation on the houses and we have the high interest rates, it just creates a halt, which is what the the government was looking for, to halt some of that spending to try to bring down and cut some of the prices, right? So it's worked a little bit. It's worked quite a bit in some areas. So we're seeing, like I mentioned earlier with housing, we're seeing prices drop a little bit. Unfortunately, what I've seen in my area too is still a bidding war situation in certain markets of housing, or certain, I should say, not markets, but certain demographic areas or geographical areas. We're still seeing a little bit of bidding wars, again, because those are sought out areas. There's low inventory already in those areas, and the people who can't afford to purchase are actually bidding on those properties and trying to win with either offering more money, offering to allow the person to live in the home a little bit longer after you've closed so that they can find a home. Just different incentives that buyers will do to entice the seller to go with their offer. So we are seeing that, which basically keeps the price right where it is on the home, or either it's going to, again, raise the price on the home, which we're kind of stuck right where we were before. So what do I forecast or see happening going into next year? So do I think this is anything like 2008 where the market crashed? No, I do not. I'm not going to even get into the details of why I don't, but I don't see any of the same signs that we were seeing then. So I do not think that is going to happen. I do see house appreciation either increasing or staying where it is. I do not see the market where the housing value, or the market value of the houses, lowering. Rates for mortgages, I do see rates probably staying right around where they are. They may drop a little bit as we go into the election time. Fingers crossed, I hope. And with that being said, I hope that a lot of you who are looking to purchase a house will take advantage and be ready when that time comes, because we never know how long we're gonna keep those low interest rates, right? So again, when you have the opportunity, take it so that you can lock in your rate, and you will be in a situation where you own a home. You won't expect your mortgage to go up because you have that locked in rate, right? So what else do I forecast? I think we're going to start seeing more building. if that can be possible. I know in some areas land is an issue, but I do foresee more inventory in the form of new builds, whether that be brand new construction or whether that be flipping properties or knocking down some properties and starting all over again. But I think we're going to have to see some of that in order to balance out the low inventory with the demand for housing right now. Options for you guys. So you may not be in a position right now where you can actually purchase a house, and that's totally understandable with everything that we have going on right now in the economy. I get it. But there are some options for you and some steps that you can take to make sure that you prepare yourself so that when you are ready, you are in position, right? Number one is make sure that you keep a lookout on your credit score. You want to make sure that your credit score is, I'm going to say, at least try to be at 620 or higher to get a really good rate when it's time to actually purchase. The other thing you want to do is keep your debt low. I'm going to say that again. Keep your debt low. Because although you may have a perfect credit score, if your debt to income is extremely high, then you're not going to qualify for much of a mortgage. So keep your debt low. That's 3 times I've said that, right? Okay. Increase your income. Any kind of way that you can increase your income is always going to be beneficial. Lenders are typically looking to see that you have been on your job, or whatever stream of income that you have, it's sustainable and that you've been doing it for at least 2 years. Sometimes you can get away with just a 1-year scenario, but at least 2 years with whatever your source of income is. Also, that should be some legitimate income that is measurable. It is something that can be looked back to track. So like a check stub or tax return documents, okay? The other thing that you want to do is start building your savings. Typically, when you are applying for a mortgage, your first time you can get, like a conventional or FHA that requires a 3% or a 3.5% down. But start saving that money so that you're ready. Also, with your down payment amount that's required, you're usually going to have to put down some money towards your closing costs. Now, I always try to, as a realtor, try to get the seller to pay as much of that as possible, if not all of that. But you should still be prepared in the event that you have to pay some of those closing costs. So again, just save as much as possible. Okay, so that way you're ready when an opportunity presents itself for you to actually purchase a house. You have all your ducks in a row. It'll be wham bam, thank you ma'am, in and out. It's a piece of cake. All we got to do is just find the house, right? The other thing, or another option that I would suggest that a lot of people are looking into, is the rent-to-own option. So sometimes you can find those rent-to-own deals that are really good. Typically with those, the landlord is going to require that you're renting for, I think, usually anywhere, I want to say maybe like a 3-year minimum, or at least, no, maybe even just a 1-year minimum. But typically there is a maximum amount of time that you can actually rent before, well, let me say that another way, because that's going to sound really confusing. So usually you can get a rent-to-own property, and they're usually going to give you up to a certain time to purchase that property. So you can have up to a 5-year period that would allow you to actually get all of your things in order so that you qualify for a mortgage to be able to purchase the property. So you have typically, like I said, up to 5 years with most of these companies. Now, after that 5-year period, if you're not ready and you still can't purchase the house, then you're just going to stay a renter, and they're typically going to be raising the rent on you at that time. So some different companies that you could look into is Divvy, that's DIVVY. There's Dream America, there's Landis, there's homepartners.com. So any of those websites you can check out. I'll also include a link in the bottom to those as well. If you don't have a realtor, you can always reach out to me if you're looking for guidance, more guidance on what to do, which way to go, what makes sense, and get the most accurate information. Absolutely reach out to me. I can provide a more in-depth, detailed conversation and information to you about some of these options. Also, there's always the option of just privately from someone who, a lot of times, elderly people who can no longer live in their homes. Maybe it's someone who is about to go into foreclosure. Maybe it's somebody who is moving out of state and wants to get rid of a home. These are opportunities that you can look for those particular type of homeowners and say, hey, I will rent your house with the potential to buy your house, and create a contract in order to do it that way as well. So lots of options out here. Always try to reach out to a professional like a real estate professional or your local lender who can give you some guidance on what's happening in your current market, to better help you position yourself so that you can actually purchase a home. I hope this information was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you like the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe. And if you have any other topics that you're interested in me discussing, please put those in the chat box. I would love to discuss them with you. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.